Do you have access to LinkedIn stories? Because I do. This girl does. Watch this video to see my first impressions, and I'm going to show you the user interface. It's pretty interesting. Hey from the future, it's String. I'm about to throw some epic knowledge bombs and fried chicken at you. Get ready. Today, in Australia, we got access to LinkedIn stories, and only a few countries, about 3, 4, Brazil, Netherlands, UAE and Australia have access to LinkedIn stories. And I have to say, LinkedIn teams have access to LinkedIn stories. But here's my first impressions of it. I'm going to show you the user interface, some of the stories that are popping out, how we could improve on it, and how to leverage it and be strategic in a way you could build up your brand on it as well. Before I was on LinkedIn, I was on Snapchat. Before I was on Snapchat, I was on Meerkat, and that died. And now that LinkedIn has stories, I'm so excited. And if you don't have access to it, don't worry, I'm going to show you how it works. But here's my first impressions. So what you need to do is you go on the homepage, and on the top, you see all these amazing Australians and UAE people, Netherlands people, and who else is it? Brazilians having access to LinkedIn stories. My first story gained about, what was the numbers now? Has 280 viewers in a matter of 11 hours, which means that it's an opportunity to stand out, leverage your brand, and show behind the mask. And even though it's a professional platform, it's an opportunity to stand out. A lot of stories are very generic. We're gonna watch a few. Within 24 hours, what can you show behind the scenes of your day? Whether it be your work, your life, a moment of your humor, an insight of what's going on in your brain, a challenge that you're working on, what you're stuck on. But really, the reality is, people just wanna know how you think, what makes you tick, what you care about. Stories is showing you who you are, what you are like behind a professional mask. At the moment, I see people sharing their hometown, Zoom calls, recycling their TikTok, having too much text but not adding value, like download my thing. Ruby, for example, I could tell that she uses filter, she's recycling her Instagram stories. Don't do this. Don't screenshot your articles and your posts and expect people to read it. So a good one, James from NoCal, is like they're showing conferences. Now that we're outside of COVID-19, people are going back into reality and interacting. So showing conferences is a great way to interact. What can you do to stand out? Make sure your videos are vertical as well. Don't do landscape. To share an insight, a thought, can you say it within 20 seconds? Mix it up. Sometimes I do videos and then I stop and pause by having a bit of breather, by adding text. So I screenshot a lot of like my thoughts as well, because I do a lot of writing. You should use it as a way to show not your professional mask, but more what's behind the mask, because people want to know who you are. Something to think about and consider. Stories is actually giving people permission. It's giving your audience permission to connect with you and reach out to you and have conversations with you inside your DMs. So DMs is not about selling or trying to convert them, but it's obviously providing value in a way that they're compelled to have conversations with you. And over time, your perceived value, your brand value will increase exponentially as well. So they might not be ready to work with you now, but they may be ready to work with you later on. The same concept and thinking is also considered when you're thinking about finding work or jobs. Your employee, your prospect, are looking at your personality and see if culturally you fit into the company. So use it as a way to stand out, and don't be afraid to show behind the mask. You don't have to be unprofessional about it by swearing on it or being crude on it, but do it in a way that elevates your brand and show that you're a character, you're a worthwhile person, you're interesting. And use it strategically. I actually said it in my LinkedIn stories that it's an opportunity to stand out. And just don't avoid just talking to the camera and not adding any elements. Stickers, text are visual cues to help people interact and engage with your content as well. So that's why I think people like the filters, because it's something interesting to see. If you go on home, you'll see on the top row all the awesome stories being created at the moment. And you have to realize that The first page, the home page, is the premium place to be on your stories. And the way for you to be in that premium real estate is for you to constantly create stories and upload. So then you'd be on back into that prime real estate as well. So what we have here is that you have the plus sign that gives you permission to create stories. On the top row, you have two things. The T sign allows you to type things in, 2 different top font styles, and they offer 6 different colors: red, orange, green, blue, purple, gray, and the 2 font styles. So this is style number 1. Style number 2 has no box around it, photos or videos, and you could flip the camera so you could see you. So I probably should do it this way because it's more aesthetic. And that bit here on the top allows you to add stickers or add mentions, and you can't mention, or you can only mention people, not brands. So you can have different stickers like good day, workmate, depending on what you feel like. You can add multiple stickers. You can't add GIFs, but you can add multiple stickers. You can say something, and I would recommend that you say something, add fonts to add context to what you have to say. And on the bottom, you can upload photos or videos, and often or not, and there's no wrong or right way of doing it, but particularly I notice a lot of people are uploading their old Instagram stories, Facebook stories, TikToks on there so far. And you could flip it around. So you could flip around and see my studio face, or see my face again, or you can record directly. I typically find that I don't record because sometimes the app crashes. So that's the creation side, but I'm going to show you what else you can see based on the view side as well. So if you click on the bottom, you could see the 3 dots there. You could delete, download, or send in a private message as well. So I noticed like particular stories I noticed had more views, and I have a feeling it's because people are sending those messages out to, sending my stories out to other people as well. And if you look on the bottom, you have options. I'm going back. You have 2 options. You could have, and you could, if you hold on to it, just like Instagram stories, you could actually pause the video, and that's pause the story and allows you to watch that one. You have 20, I have like the amount of viewers there. And what's interesting with my viewers, I have a lot of second and third connections watching me. And if you click onto them, most of them are from Australia, which is not surprising because I noticed that Australia, Netherlands, UAE, Brazil have access to it. So that means that a lot of Australians are watching my stories right now. What is on my hit list? If I have to give this video and send to the LinkedIn teams and what they should include, filters. For some reason, people like those filters. It doesn't have to be a funny filter, maybe adding a bit of a beauty lens into it because people like that. Come on, we're a little bit vain in that regards, right? Adding music, but then you have to think about music license. And unfortunately, like Facebook has bought out Jiffy, so I will be interested to see if we could integrate Jiffy into LinkedIn stories, because I really think that would add an element of interest into our videos or our LinkedIn stories, because I do that. I really like integrating element to hone and highlight particular points. I'm waiting for polls because every Friday on my Instagram stories I have a weekly game called Bot or Not, where we see if the person messaging is a bot or human, and that's the game that I really want to introduce onto LinkedIn stories as well. LinkedIn stories is pretty much in its baby stage, infancy stage, but there's something about it that's compelling, that people do want to see behind the scenes and see that person behind the professional mask. I'm actually just super excited about stories because I find that more compelling and easy to create content compared to creating videos, because videos, you need to put a lot of work into it. I put actually a lot of work into creating my videos, whereas on stories, I just flick open, take a photo and upload it. And whereas the amount of time that I create with videos versus my stories is this much versus this much for videos. Really, it's not about the stories, it's actually using that content as a way for other people to connect with me as well. So that's what I'm super excited about. The conversations behind the stories, not the stories of me having one-way conversations, but a two-way conversation. One of the cool things about Instagram stories is that we have all these filters, stickers, GIFs, music, the poll games. Where are the poll games? I'm waiting for those poll interactions to have on LinkedIn stories. I realized something with LinkedIn stories, that people are kind of boring, and the way they use it is almost like, hey, check out me and my business. But it should be a lot more than that. This is actually the opportunity to be strategic, leverage the duck out of it, and also think about how to stand out in a way that shows your personality and behind your authenticity and your truth about you and your business. So, what does that even mean? It means that stories is a way for people to see behind the scenes of your day, transitional sneak peeks of what's going on in your life, whether it be your work, your life, your humor, your personality, a random thought. Use it as a way to elevate your brand value and think about how you can show and add value, because in reality, people use stories to see who are you. I just want to show you my video setup using my Snapchat.